Hello and welcome to Redeeming Thunder. My name is Erica and I am here to give you a prophetic dream that I received on 10/14/2024. This dream is heavy. This dream is intense. It's a humongous warning, and it's appointed times. Like it's for the now. I have many other prophetic words I was receiving, and I will be giving those soon. I did take a break to recuperate my health and get into the secret place with Yahuah, and he has downloaded several wonderful prophetic words that have to do with breakthrough and to arise. But this one in particular is taking precedence because it is urgent. Okay. Hallelujah. Thank you, Holy. Thank you, Ruach, for assisting in this moment to give this tremendous warning. Arabashimakosi. Okay, so start of the dream. I was in a car with a family member that is key right there, that I'm going to explain later, the interpretation of this dream. And this family member was driving and then parked at a certain parking lot that I have had several other dreams in the past regarding this particular individual and the vehicle that they drive. Okay. Now, in this okay, that didn't help. In this dream, I was looking for a particular, very specific type of pie. It was like a berry pie, and that's the only thing that I could eat. In the dream, I felt that was the only thing I could eat, so I was in search of it. But because of, in the dream, just had gone through a serious surgery, okay, I was in a lot of pain, and so I had someone else, another family member, drive the vehicle at that time. And so that parking lot is kind of eerie. There's a stores there. There seems to be a right now there seems to be a huge building, and that's the building we were going to, and that was the grocery store. Back in the day, it was actually a grocery store. Now it is not in real life, but it was in the dream. So we enter, and I'm walking pretty slow, but I get there, and so the family member is going to go look for the pie. So that person's going in a different department of the store, and right when I get into this is very important. I know that I'm kind of deflecting, I just don't want to miss any detail. Okay, so please pay attention because it's critical. It's critical. Okay, so I need to go towards the back because I recall that my husband and I had made a habitat for a little duckling that we found in that store long ago, maybe about 8-9 months ago. Seems like maybe 7 to 8 months ago. Okay, and so we had made a little habitat, I recall, and really wanted to check since I was already there, and it was late at night when we arrived at the store, I want to say that's key. It was nighttime. And, like really late. Like almost at the time of the store will be closing. So I will reveal what time the store was closing. The time frame is very important as well. So I go towards the back, and then towards the back there's toys there on one side, and then there's some garden center on the other side, and then after that there's these doors, automatic doors that open and close into the garden center. I was on my way to the garden center. So the weather outside in front of the store was just nighttime and a little bit chilly, not to the extreme. But when we went inside, there was a clerk there, and I said, "Oh, because he just came out. He just came inside from the garden center that was outside." And so I asked, "Oh, did you happen to see the little duckling in the pond with the lily pads?" Because we had put lily pads. I always dreamed of having a pond in real life with lily pads, okay? And so, but in my dream, I finally did it seemed like. So I was excited to see how it had turned out now, several months ahead. And I said, my husband and I worked on this little pond, like a good size, not tiny, and put the duckling there. And then he says, "There's nothing there. I'm sorry, I didn't see anything there." He's like, "All I saw was a bucket. And it looked like I had some murky black stuff in there, and then maybe a little bit of a green moss." And I said, in shock, I was like, "What? Are you serious?" I'm like, "How is that possible? I put the pond there with the duckling." I'm like, "Did you see the duckling?" And he's like, "I didn't see any duckling there." And then I'm like, "No, this can't be. I have to check for myself." Like, I was extremely determined. Like, even though I was in a lot of pain and I was walking slow, which I realized was, that explains later. I'll explain later what that means. But I'm like, I'm gonna go look for myself, because I cannot imagine how there's nothing there. I just want to double check, okay? He's like, and the whole time I couldn't really see the clerk's face. He had some kind of like cap or something, and I couldn't really see his face. I was more focused on the bucket that I envisioned. And so then that he was explaining. And so then when I go out there, he's like, "Be careful, please, because it's very slippery." And I'm like, "What? How's it slippery? It's just night." So the automatic doors open, and suddenly, outside it was like a blizzard. There was a bunch of snow, like mounds and mounds, and then there was a very slippery slope going downwards. And that's not how when I first went into that a while ago, it was just flat, plain cement with rows and rows of plants and garden supplies. Okay, so I was like, what in the world? This is like a whole new world. This is a different world here. So I had to like right 2 steps out, it was already a snowy I'm gonna make a part 2, because I'm actually gonna explain to you what this means, okay? Because that is not logical that you're in the same city, but you just open one. What do you think? I mean, it's kind of obvious what's going on here. Okay, it's obvious. I have another video that I'm gonna show you that explains all of this, and this second part explains what is going on, because Yahuah gave me another vision, okay, of what is going on with the duckling. So in the bucket. And so I go out there and I find a black bucket, and I get a stick that I find after walking, and it was a bit slippery, okay, but I had to be very careful because there was mounds of snow, but then everything was covered in a thick ice. After this clumpy snow, there was a thick layer of ice, so you had to be very careful to walk. And this is the thing. I walked a little downwards, and then I saw a little flattened area, and that's where I basically climbed up there, and then got to the location. It was still upwards, but it wasn't all the way down slope, okay? I wasn't down there. And so what happened was, there it was, a bucket. I get the stick, I dig in, and I'm like really worried now. I'm like really frightened now about, not frightened, but just now I'm on alert. I'm now determined to be like, where is the baby duckling? It has to be matured now. It hopefully flew away and it did not perish here. You know, I'm starting to feel like, oh my gosh, you know, it couldn't have lived in a little bucket this small. And I dug in, and surely enough, exactly what the man said, the clerk said, there was this black moss. And then I dug again onto the other side, and there was just a little lump of green moss. And I'm like, how did this happen? Like how could this be? What happened here? Because the pond that we originally put here was like, now I'm thinking, if we put a pond in a garden center and left it there, then back in the day we probably entered some kind of opening into another dimension then. Does that make sense? Because why would we do that? Why would we put and plant a little garden, a little area, and with loving care give it a habitat? Why would we do that? That's because we saw an area that we could. Okay, so now it's making sense that I'm like, okay, so I think I entered into a portal right when I went through those doors, and he says, be careful. So now I'm just in shock. I'm just like, this is just so disappointing. How did this happen? We established a healthy, nurturing habitat for this, and it's not like that anymore. And so the clerk comes out, and he's like kind of concerned, you know, like he knew that I was a little bit, you know, wounded. And so he's like, are you all right out there? I think you should come in, you know, it's pretty slippery out there. Here, I'll help you come back up. So I only went down like a few steps, like not even steps, it's like lumpy terrain, okay? It's slippery. So I went and like a few steps, maybe 2 feet down. Because when I looked down, it looks like a really long way down. Like there was some space, and then it was like big time slope. So now I'm like, great, now I need to get on the top part of the slope and he was reaching out his hand to me, this stranger, and I'm like, oh no, what if I was thinking, what if I reach out his hand and what if he pushes me all the way down? Like, who would find me? It's like another land down here, like there was some icy river down there. It looked like a river, and all the way down after the slope. And it was super icy. Remember, there was snow and then there was a compact layer of ice. So I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to take my chances because I can't stay out here, He said, come on, it's cold out here. You should come in. You should come up, back up. So then I started to be like, you know what? He could be a good Samaritan and actually help me up. He actually is sincere. And the only reason why I trusted, because when I looked up at him when he was reaching his hand, I recognized his face. And his face was oh, it's getting kind of hot in here. Okay, so his face was Brody from, if you watch Netflix, it's still on right now, from Fire Country, and he is a rescuer. He is a firefighter. So that I'm like, oh, I know him. He will rescue me. And that's how I trusted, because it was someone that I don't know in person, but I knew in the show, and he's probably a really good actor or something, because I really could relate and trust him. I'm like, oh, he works at the store now. That's what I thought in the dream. So when I saw his arm reach out, I started to walk over to him, like maybe 5 steps. I needed to do 5 steps on my own or so. And when I did that, I noticed that like I was not slipping at all, because I went out with boots, but without just regular boots. But when I was walking back towards him, I had to go somewhat on the terrain and then on the slope horizontally and then up. Okay? Because I went like about 2 feet down from the slope. And my boots had metal prongs they were like official mountain climbing boots. I'm like, and I noticed that, and I noticed that he also was not slipping, and he was having the same type of boots. I'm like, well, when did I get these boots? But I'm noticing everything, all the little details, and I'm just like, okay, I walk sideways 5 steps, and I get his hand, and then he pushes me up, and now I'm having to it's a really steep slope, okay? And I'm having to, and he's pushing me up, and he's still clamped his boots into the slippery slopes, and I'm up there, and then he gets up, and so we enter in, and he says, and I say, I just can't believe it. I can't, the bucket, and he's just looking kind of like disappointed as well. Like if I'm saying that I left that there, then I must have left it there. Like, why would I lie, right? So then I receive a text, and the family member that came with me says, we need to go to another store. The store's about to close. It's almost 11 o'clock in p.m. and we need to leave because and go to another store that closes later, because they don't have this pie here. And in that moment, I receive a vision. Okay, this is why you don't mess with people. First of all, Yahuah has chosen people. Second of all, those that receive are seers, okay? You do not mess with those that hear the voice of Yahuah Arabasi, because in that moment I saw the pie station and there was tons of the exact pie that I needed. So in that moment I'm thinking, why would she tell me to leave and let's go to another store if the pie that I need is right there? Why would she lie to me? I'm thinking that. Okay, that's key right there. And then I don't know if you caught the other detail that was the most important detail of all, of this entire dream that I received. It is subtle, but it's not, okay? She said that it is close to closing. It is 11 o'clock at this store, that when it closes, that we need to go to another store that closes later. Okay? So now as the dream ended, now I'm getting into the specifics. If you think about the movie Cinderella, and she had a moment, a time frame to enjoy her night with her gown and her carriage and her beautiful life of being a princess, and then the clock strikes 12, and that's when everything goes back to normal, back to misery, the life of misery of being a slave of her with her family. Okay, it's maybe not the best analogy, but what I'm trying to say, have you ever heard of the saying, when the clock strikes 12? Yes, everybody has heard that saying. Okay, trying to give you some hints here, some clues, but it is critically obvious that we are in the 11th hour. We were close to the hour of closing for that store. That was the key. That was the clue that Yahuah was giving, that we are in the 11th hour. And he is striking at the 12th hour. Okay? He comes and strikes at night. And when I research a little bit further on what the pie, the significance of the pie, the berry pie, it means the connection with Yahuah, the secret place with the Most High. Okay? That was the only food I could eat. It was that pie. Why is that so? Why was that so? I'm trying to think that. Why was that so? That was the only pie that I could eat. Because at this time, Yahuah is trying to say, you need to get into his word, into his secret time. Okay? Secret place, into the aroma, providing worship and praise. Okay? He's going to give divine, critical advice, information about your future, about what's going to attack. Okay? He wants you to be ready. And the pie has to do with the beautiful presents that he gives. See this, like when you put a pie in the oven and it's starting to cook, and you can now, it's almost ready, so it's starting to bubble and it's starting to release the beautiful aroma of berries, a Marionberry pie or a blueberry pie, and it's starting to release all the aromas through the oven. Okay, that is his presence. And the analogy here was, you need that. You need that presence. you need to be in the presence. You need to be engulfed in it. You need to focus on that is your meal right now. We eat real food, physical food, but we need to eat this specific food at this time. Help me, Ruach, help me explain what I'm trying to say here with this, with your dream that you gave me. Help me explain. And the person, the people that you carry around you are critical in this moment, to keep only those around you who are going to help carry you through, project you to the future, to your destiny. When they are stagnating you and lying and keeping, and it could be not even just stating that, lying, saying there's not a pie here and there really was. It could be that they're creating a lot of turmoil, a lot of troubles, a lot of problems, unnecessary drama. That stress in itself is going to take you away from the presence of Yahuah, the secret place. It's going to cause a lot of turmoil and stress, and thinking that the enemy is using even family members to distract you from who you really need to focus on, the presence of Yahuah. You giving aroma, beautiful aroma to Yahuah, okay? In this hour. Because, again, the slippery slope. There is a slippery slope, and you don't want to mingle with the wrong crowd. Right now, it is critical and essential to not mingle with the wrong crowd. That's what Yahuah has been trying to say. He has been giving warning after warning. My wrath is coming. Arabashima kasisala. And he doesn't want it to hurt. It doesn't want it to affect his chosen ones. So you need to cut ties. You need to separate for the ones that will pull you back. And also, the prophetic word for others is those friends, BFFs, family members are not going to be the ones that are going to take you to your future and to your destiny. Oh, more? Okay. They're not going to be the ones. It's going to be, Yahuah is going to bring destiny helpers. Okay? It is not going to be the closest ones. They don't have the vision. They don't have enough faith to get you to your future. Now, part 2 is coming, and it's explained the other part, about the duckling and the bucket. Shalom.